Hi, this is Greg at Best Choice Trailers. Today we're going to take a walk around a Sure-Trac 7x18, 14,000 pound gravity tilt equipment trailer. It's called the FWTE series. This comes in a few different configurations, but as shown would be the most common. You can get this particular 14,000 pound GVW in a 16 or an 18 foot tilt deck, and you can get it with or without the stationary deck. Shown here is without the stationary deck. 14,000 pounders are by far and away the most common. We also stock them in a 10,000 pound GVW and a 16,000 pound GVW. The most common full deck tilt length would be, as shown here, the 18 foot, but again, they do offer it in a 16 foot. So we're gonna take a walk around the trailer. The only option shown on this trailer would be the new oak deck that we're now doing internally standard on our unit. So we wanted to take a new video showing that, but we'll showcase the standard features as well. So up front, you've got an adjustable coupler. It's 2 5/16. It's a 6-hole. You've got a 7,000 pound jack. Notice the grease zert at the top wind jack. It's a bolt-on, fairly easy to replace if you ever need to replace it. Notice it's also a sealed wire harness, and then they've got a built-in holder for the end of your plug. Now, for those not familiar with the drop leg jack, you'll see that it's got a pin. You would simply pull out the pin there, and the inner leg drops down to the ground, and then the top wind jack would adjust the outer leg. So again, it is a sealed harness. If you look into the A-frame here, you can actually see that's the front whip, and then there's also a disconnect there that takes you back the trailer. So it's got the front bulkhead. Now, one thing, the 10 and 14,000 pound GVW trailers all have a similar frame. That's one of the reasons why there's not much price difference and not much weight difference between a 10 and a 14K on the gravity tilt models. As far as I know, I believe the only difference might be the cross members. The 6-inch channel 4-wrap tongue, 6-inch channel mainframe, and 6-inch tube bed frame would be the same on the 10 and the 14K GVW. So Sure-Trac puts a lot of tie downs on this particular unit standard. You'll notice here the stake pocket, rub rail, and D-rings are all standard equipment. They're using the bullet LED lights. You also notice the powder coated sticker. Sure-Trac does one of the better jobs of our manufacturers that we carry of doing a proper blast, phosphate wash, and powder coat. Do a nice job with their finish quality. Spare tire mount on this is standard. A spare tire would be an option. Notice they do the fender gusset on the double broke fenders, and then they also put a prop in the middle of the fenders for extra support. One thing I'll point out to you that is also different, this is something that they changed about a year or so ago. I don't believe this was on the last video that we did. The gusset that ties together the tongue, the mainframe, and then the fender attaches to it as well is something new. This gives a wider load than what was before. I believe this trailer gets you about 81.5 inches between the fenders, where before you could only get about 78. So again, that gusset plate does a few things. It adds structure, but then also gives you additional function. So a 10-ply radial tire, 235/80 R16 load range E is standard equipment. Brakes on both axles. It's got the easy lube hubs. You can simply pull the cap off there and service your bearings. Trailer's got a slipper spring suspension standard. Also notice it's got the grease zert. That would be referred to as a wet bolt kit by some. Sometimes that's an option. Sure-Trac's putting it on standard. So one thing to point out, on an 18-foot trailer, Sure-Trac does about 16 foot of wood and then about a 32-inch diamond plate tail. These tilts are one of the few trailers where you get a little bit of additional length. So this tail's about 32, but they're only counting about 2 foot of that. So this 18-foot trailer is going to measure about 18 foot 8 to 9 inches, give or take. So Sure-Trac's one of the few manufacturers that does a gravity tilt in an 18-foot. Most in the industry do them in 16 foot. Some of them do it with a stop valve, some without. Sure-Trac chooses to build theirs without a stop valve. I used to think this was a concern with the trailer design. However, I actually really like how they design it. The stop valve is mainly designed so that the trailer does not tip down prior to the back tire being past your tail. And with a longer 18 foot, or in this case, as I mentioned, about 18 foot 8 inches, split that in half, 9'4", you can get most items like a, for instance, pickup truck on here without the bed wanting to come down, therefore eliminating the need for a stop valve. So let me show you how they do that, because again, this is a big seesaw and it's got to balance out. So what they're doing is basically putting ballast in the back end of the trailer, which does a few things. One, it gives additional structural support, but then secondly, again, it enables them to do a bigger seesaw, an 18-foot seesaw, in fact. So again, they do a longer tilt than most in the industry. Now, they have recently started offering this trailer in a 16-foot, but generally speaking, we don't purchase those 16-foots, as again, we find this 18-foot's much more common. So again, it's about a 32-inch tail. A trailer like this is going to weigh in about 3,000 pounds empty. It's going to give you about 11,000 pound payload. So there's the exact numbers. 14,000 GVW. If you take 10,680 off, that means the trailer weighs about 3,300 empty. Now granted, this is a little heavier because of the oak deck. That does not also count your tongue weight. Your tongue weight is going to be about 15% that you're going to pick up whenever you attach this to your truck. Again, it is offered in a 16K GVW for those hauling heavier equipment. So they've got a very simple latching system. I already opened it up for simplicity here, but very simple to deploy. Simply pull the handle up. Trailer is going to gravity. Now granted, I think the rain might be messing with my balance a little bit on this one. We'll give it a little help with one finger. Normally these come right up on a dry day. Again, it's just coming right up. So there's your trailer deployed. You got a simple gravity cushion cylinder underneath. Again, the bed frame on this is a 6-inch tube bed frame. Floor cross members on this are a 16-inch on center. So I'm going to show you how the tilt works. I'm obviously much smaller than a piece of equipment, but we'll give you an idea. As your weight comes forward to the seesaw, trailer is going to begin to cushion down. You'd simply come over, latch the trailer. Now it's going to stay stationary, and of course you'd want to put your safety pin in. It's a very simple design, very effective. Great trailer for all sorts of equipment. It gives a very low load angle. Now, one of the reasons that we do the oak on this particular trailer would be for better traction. Not only does this have a low load angle, but the oak's going to give an improved traction up the trailer as well. So one thing you'll notice too, and one of the reasons why they do this, drop axles come standard on this, and you'll notice it's got a taller fender. Now they do it because this trailer is designed for equipment. Generally speaking, on a car trailer, you got to watch how tall your fenders are. On an equipment trailer like this, where you're not worried about opening a door up, they go to drop axles, which lowers the trailer, gives you a lower center of gravity, better ride, lower load angle, etc. By doing drop axles, it also allows them to keep the axles in a little bit better placement. So on a tilt, generally you're going to slide your axles a little bit farther forward because you can't extend ramps out the back. So on this particular unit, they've used drop axles, slid the axles up just a little bit. And then one other thing Sure-Trac does on this that we like, they lengthen the tongue up about probably 10 inches or so. And what that's going to do is hit at a wider point, make the trailer more stable. But then also by lengthening the tongue up a little bit, whenever you push the axles forward, it's going to take some of your tongue weight off. And then by lengthening the tongue up, it's going to give you that proper amount of tongue weight back again. So again, smart design. Also makes it very effective if you're pulling it behind a pintle vehicle that's got a dump bed or something like that. It's got the extended tongue. So again, all features that we like on these Sure-Trac gravity tilts. You can also get this in a power tilt, although it's pretty rare to have that done. Personally, I like the gravity for most uses. Not only does it save money, but it's a pretty slick setup. You drive up on and it cushions down. So again, as seen here, it's got the upgraded oak deck. Other than that, this is a stock 18-foot, 14,000 pound gravity tilt Sure-Trac. you have any questions on it or any of our other trailers, give us a ring at 717-220-4220 or visit us on the web at bestchoicetrailers.com.